This is the 2025 Honda Ridgeline TrailSport. Is this the ultimate gentleman's truck? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're at Holmes Honda in Shreveport, Louisiana to go over the details on this TrailSport trim level of the Honda Ridgeline. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color on this model is called Diffused Sky Pearl, and it has a black interior. As far as the TrailSport trim level goes, there's a few things you're going to find here. Number one, your TrailSport badging on the front and on the rear. And I don't know if you can see it from my vantage point here, but you'll see it later in the video. You'll also find the TrailSport logo on the headrests, on the interior, on the floor mats. There's also going to be some orange interior lighting, just some minor ambient lighting, nothing really bright, but it is there. And you'll also find some protection underneath the truck for the oil pan. As far as the lighting goes, everything is LED. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and LED fog lights down there on the lower portion of the bumper. The active air curtains right here to allow air to pass through the front end. You can see the daylight right there. That helps improve your MPGs with better aerodynamics. As far as your safety features go, there's a lot going on here. We're going to have Honda Sensing to begin with, which is adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation braking, lane keeping assist, and road departure. All-wheel drive is standard on 100% of these trucks. So no matter the trim level, you're going to find all-wheel drive. These are 18-inch wheels, and one thing I like here is the finish on the wheels. While I personally am a fan of gloss black, this gray finish works really well here. And you'll also find that here on the front end with the upper grille. So for those who are not so much fans of gloss black, although we have the brow up here that is gloss black, there's not a ridiculous amount here. We'll find some more of that gray right down here. And you're going to find a lot of great features with your side view mirrors. They're going to have the turn signal indicators built in. They're heated. They're power adjustable. And they are also power folding. So I'm going to push the button right here to make this happen. So everything you want is going to be there. That's always a nice feature to have. I know a lot of you like that. So now you know that it is here. And as far as your remote goes, let's take a quick look at that. You're going to have lock, unlock, remote start, and you will also find the panic button down here. And one thing you might have noticed I didn't say about the side view mirrors is that they had blind spot monitoring built in. It's not in the mirrors actually, it's right here. So what I'm going to do is start the truck and you can see it right there. You can see that indicator come on. That's going to be on the driver and the passenger side doors. You can tow up to 5,000 pounds with the Ridgeline. You're going to have LED tail lights, and we're going to have the tailgate that's a little bit different from most back here. You have 1,521 pounds worth of payload. And while you can open the tailgate in the conventional position, if you reach right under here, you'll find a release that allows you to open it this way and gain a little bit easier access not only to the bed itself, because you can come right up to the bumper. That makes it easier. You're going to have your tie downs right here, 2 on each side on the rear and 2 on the front. So you have a total of 8 different tie down points. And you have your bed trunk that is lockable, by the way, if you need to do that. Now, the thing I like here is that you can partition everything off. You can have 4 different sections here, great for tailgating or whatever you need to do. And when you do tailgate, if you fill this area with ice, which is one of its intended purposes, you can take the drain plug right out right there. When the ice is melted down, let the water drain out. Very easy to deal with. By the way, you do have a spare tire. All the tools are here. There are some tray bolts that you just loosen on each side, and you actually take this out and put it right here. Pretty easy to deal with. Very simplistic. Under the hood is the 3.5 liter naturally aspirated Honda V6. Now, this is not the same V6 that is in the current generation of the Honda Pilot. So it's making 280 horsepower and 262 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. How about the MPG? It's probably a little hard to see, but I'll tell you what they are. 18 city, 23 highway, 20 combined, and 5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Speaking of gallons of gas, we're gonna push the button right here. That opens the gas door, because I wanted to tell you that you have a 19 4.5-gallon gas tank. On a single tank of gas, you can drive 351 miles in the city and 448 miles on the highway. Going back to the remote, there's something I wanted to show you here that you may not know about. Let's say it's a really hot day outside and you want to get a little bit of a jump start on cooling down your interior. Here's how you do that. You're going to push the unlock button 2 times and hold it on the second push. And here is what happens. It's going to roll down all 4 windows and open the sunroof up there. You can see that that opened up. Nice little trick that I know some people know about and some people don't. Let's talk about what your rear seat passengers are going to find. The armrest in the traditional position down here, or they can use this area up here. Obviously, this space has a little bit of padding built in. You can see the orange contrast stitching. The only thing missing on these doors is a door bend, but ultimately that's made up for with the cup holder right here and a little bit of space behind that. The seat cushions are both capable of being put in this upright position. I just only did one side, but that side goes up too. The advantage to that is if you need this space for cargo, maybe it's raining outside or it's just something you don't want to put in the bed, well, you have that option to take care of that. Pretty easy to deal with. You just use this release right here to make that happen. Both seats will have seat pockets on the rear, and something that I know a lot of you will like, rear air conditioning vents. Now, there's only one form of connectivity back here. Let's see if I can reach down here and get to it and show that to you, and it's going to be the 12-volt power outlet right there. But that's better than nothing, that's for sure. We're gonna have a conventional size sunroof up there, which I showed you a little bit of earlier. It's gonna tilt and slide open. You obviously have the shade that can be drawn forward right there. And something that I really like here, the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in. In my opinion, this is how all of these armrests should be laid out. What do I mean by that? Notice that you have the vertical cup holders. They're typically parallel like this. The disadvantage to the parallel design is that once there's a bottle in one of the cup holders, well, that passenger can no longer use the armrest for its intended purpose, at least for the armrest portion. But this way, you can have a bottle in each one and still take advantage of the armrest functionality. There is a power sliding rear window right here, and you have the rear window defogger. Depending on where the front seats are set, there is actually a lot of room back here. Quite a bit of leg space. Let me turn the camera around like this and show you that I have quite a bit of space above my head at 5'10". So somebody who's 6 feet tall could sit back here as well. The all-important question that I know a lot of people have, what is the sticker price? $47,230. If you see somebody asking that question in the comments section, tell them to watch the video because it's hidden somewhere in the video. Power seats for the driver and the passenger both are heated. We'll find the controls right here for our 3 stages of heated seats, just in case you're curious to know where those are. Now, the only difference between the driver and the passenger seat is that the driver's seat does not raise up and down and it does not have lumbar support. There are those TrailSport logos I was telling you about earlier in the headrest. I think that should be in the front and rear headrest, but that's my personal opinion on the matter. We'll go right here and take a look at the glove box. Plenty of space within that area. And over here, here's the controls for our side view mirrors. Those power side view mirrors, obviously you know which one you're adjusting depending on where that switch is located. And the button right there I showed you earlier for folding or unfolding the power side view mirrors. We'll also find the Econ mode button right there. If you want to drive in Econ mode, we'll be able to adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel by dropping that lever. And then we're also going to be able to lock and unlock the windows, lock and unlock the doors. You have express one touch down and one touch up front windows, but you'll have to hold the button down for the rear windows in case you were curious about that. And the steering wheel, going to have our adaptive cruise control over here. There's your button for the heated steering wheel as well. And you can control what you're listening to here and the volume. You can also use your voice commands right there. And this scroll wheel, when I scroll back and forth with that or push on it, I can select whatever I need to here on the left-hand side of the digital instrument cluster. If I need to select something, as I said, just push on that and we can make changes to the gauge display depending on what we want to do right there. You can see what all is here as far as that goes. I'm going to go back out by hitting the home button right there. And believe it or not, across all trim levels of the Ridgeline, you have this lever right here that it does not have a warning label on it that says using your turn signals could be hazardous to your health. Yes, it's that simple. But it's a multitasker. You can also turn your fog lights off and on. Now you can set your headlights and taillights to auto if you wanted to, off, or you can go right here with whatever settings you want to. Pretty easy to deal with. By the way, one thing I didn't mention earlier, here is something that, you know what that is for your windshield wiper controls, but you have a heated windshield. That's what I didn't mention earlier in the video. And our touch screen right here, the 9-inch touch screen, you can see that you have navigation built in. We can go right here, and here's how we get to that navigation, easy to deal with. You're going to have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Obviously, neither one of those are paired right now because I haven't paired a smartphone, but you do pair your phone wirelessly. We can go into general settings right here. We're not going to go into every section, every menu, but you can see what all is here as far as that goes. Then we can go into vehicle settings. I like this a little bit more. I like the graphics. It just looks a little more modern than just having the menus you can select from. So nice and easy to figure that out. You also, when you go into reverse, have your multi-view rear view camera with a nice bright trajectory lines. There's view number 2 and view number 3. We'll go back into park and that will go away. Dual zone climate control right here. Going to have all of that set up. You can sync the two sides together if you want to, or you can have them separate from each other. All the different settings here, you can go to your rear settings if you need to and change all of that. Just depends on what you need to do. And we're going to have a couple of spaces here for cell phones or whatever will fit right there. USB options and a 12-volt power outlet. Now there's only one wireless charging pad here, and the reason I say only one is because there looks like there's room for a second right here. I think Honda should add that. That way the driver and the passenger have a wireless charging pad. Now something that I know gets mixed reviews from people is the push button shifter. Some like it, some don't. But if there is a conventional style shifter right here and you pulled it back into drive, then it would be in the way of the cup holders for the driver. Tell me what you think about that. And we're going to have multiple driving modes as well. So let's go through those. We use this button right here to go through those modes and make our selections. Now here's what we're going to have. It actually starts with normal, and then it goes to snow, sand, or excuse me, mud, and then sand. Getting a little bit ahead of myself there. But that's how you do that. If you want to turn the auto stop start feature on or off, depending on your personal preference, there is the button for that. The center console lid doubles as an armrest. Pretty nice, easy to deal with. I like that. It's pretty comfortable and a lot of space within the center console. I like that in favor of the fold-down armrests that used to be here. It just seems to be more effective. We'll also find a sunglass holder right here. I'm starting to see that in fewer and fewer vehicles these days. Glad to see that Honda is still offering that. And here are your controls for your sunroof, that power sunroof up there to open it, to either tilt or slide that open. All right, let's get out on the road for our test drive with this truck. And one thing that I wanted to tell you about, I didn't go into detail about this earlier, the difference between sequential and sport mode. Well, sequential allows you to use the paddle shifters only. Sport mode will change the overall driving dynamic of the vehicle. Maybe not to the largest degree, but it does change the way the engine operates and things like that, the steering. So if you're wondering about that, there's a simple explanation. And overall, one of the things that I think makes this the ultimate gentleman's truck is that it has a very comfortable ride quality. And I'm not saying that trucks that don't ride well are not driven by gentlemen. Some of you may or may not think I'm a gentleman, but I definitely drive a truck that does not ride super comfortably. Driving down the road, it's not the smoothest ride quality, let's put it that way. It sounds a little more grammatically correct. But mine is a GMC 2500 HD. And while there are definitely a lot of buyers out there who are looking for a mid-sized truck, that would say, you know, the Ridgeline will do well for me. I need some of the functionality of a truck. It's nice to know I can tow up around 5,000 pounds and then have the bed to work with when I need to haul things. There are some advantages to that bed, one in particular that you don't have with most trucks, which is the fact that you don't have those fender wells protruding up into the interior of the bed to the degree that you do in most trucks, like my GMC 2500, for example, or the Ford F-150 that's driving in front of us. I don't know if you can see that from your vantage point or not. But the reason that's advantageous is if you're going to haul some plywood or sheetrock or something like that back there, well, you can haul more of it, and it's going to ride better because of the way that the fender wells are built in this particular truck. And not only does it have a nice, comfortable ride quality, I feel very comfortable here in the interior, not only because the seats are comfortable, but because there is so much room, especially for the driver and the passenger up here. Obviously, these seats are adjustable. As I mentioned earlier in the video, you have the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. So no matter your height, unless you're maybe 6'7" or so, you definitely can set things up just right. You can make things nice and comfortable for yourself here with the position of the seat and the steering wheel for the driving position. And even if you're not 6 feet tall, maybe you're quite a bit below 6 feet tall, you can still set things up to where you're going to be nice and comfortable. An easy truck to see out of. You do have all those great driving aids that I mentioned earlier in the video that will help it to be easy to stay safe out on the road. Very helpful in a lot of different ways. And when you need to get down the road, we're going to get on down the road here. A couple of people driving a little bit under the speed limit. We're going to get on around them, and I'm just easing into the pedal. It's not anything major. You don't have to floor it to do that. I got to about quarter throttle, and I definitely had no trouble getting around those slower moving vehicles back there. Easy to learn technology. I like that everything is easy to get to from the driver's position right here. And while you do have some nice technology from Honda here, especially with the infotainment screen, it's nothing that I would consider over the top. It's easy to learn, it's easy to use. And for those who might say, I'll never use all that, well, you might be surprised at how much you would actually use of what's here once you've had the vehicle for a while and learned about it. And keep in mind, if you're wanting to know about something in particular, you're already in the right place to do that. Right here on YouTube, I have many tutorials that might be helpful to you where all of that is concerned. And if there's one in particular that maybe I don't have, let me know down in the comments section. I'll try and make that for you. A nice turning radius, maybe not the tightest around, but for being a mid-sized truck, I think it does very well where that is concerned. So it's very maneuverable. That's a nice thing. So a truck that I think does a very nice job. Now there are things that I know a lot of people say about these trucks that say it's not really a truck, and everybody's entitled to their opinion on that. I'm always curious to know why people think it's not a truck, and saying that it looks like a Honda Passport with the back cut off, well, so does the GMC Sierra 1500. It looks like a Suburban or a Yukon, a Yukon with the back cut off too. So I don't know. I find it funny to read some of the comments that people leave. If you're good with what this truck offers and you don't need something that you need to raise and do all the body lift and all that stuff on it, this truck will definitely get the job done for you. I'm always curious to know, for those of you who are current Ridgeline owners, or maybe you've owned a Ridgeline at some point this current generation, tell me what you enjoyed most or currently enjoy most about your truck. So tell me what you think about the 2025 Honda Ridgeline TrailSport. Is this the ultimate gentleman's truck? Tell me what your thoughts are. I'm always curious to receive your feedback. I want to say a special thanks to my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Ridgeline for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you would, please share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.